Welcome to the Clutch Case. It's been over 5 months since the last, and this contains 17 new skins. For the first time ever, they've all been made by artists who already have skins in earlier cases. I would say to click on the weapon you'd like to see, but oh wait, YouTube removed annotations. Timestamps are available in the description. The MP9 Black Sand by MG-Baz and Malz1 was designed to have a sombre appearance that would fit in with a military spec level design. It's branded with the fictional Chain Arsenal logo and is part of a sub-collection called Black Sand, which are a series of skins designed to blend in with a dusty Middle Eastern setting dust, to be used by CTs in the Black Sand campaign. The Galil of the same design has already been accepted, and the FAMAS, MP7 and UMP45 are also available in this style, but not yet included in part of the case. Chemical Alia started the Aloha collection back in 2015 and was surprised that nobody else had done a Hawaiian print pattern at the time. As she developed her style, she dabbled with different finishes and has even redrawn this design from scratch to give it a more crisp and polished appearance in game. The pattern is randomised, so each skin will look unique. Despite having made skins for the workshop since 2013, it has only been in the past year that she has had success, and has since had 3 skins officially accepted into CSGO. This case came as a nice birthday treat for Hollandchef. It's the second of this style to be accepted, the first being the Deagle from the Spectrum case last year. He juggled working on this with his time spent developing the map D Studio. This was the first Oxide Blaze design to not have flames on the barrel itself, and he sincerely hopes that you like it. Raken the Rock's P2000 Urban Hazard is the latest of the series to be accepted, going under the name Crimson Hazard on the workshop. It started life as his P2000 Supercharger and went through several iterations and versions, before returning to Red and making its way into the Urban Hazard collection. Of the series, the 5.7 and MP7 have also been accepted into the game, and under a different name and colour scheme are the Urban Shock Dual Berettas. All in all, it's been a very successful skin collection so far. This intricately detailed revolver is by Teo, who has had repeated success with other 3D looking metal designs. This revolver is part of the Tread series because the handle is designed to look like the sort of rubber you'd get on a tyre, sole of a shoe, or, I don't know, weapon handle. Teo takes his metalwork seriously, deciding on the type of metal he's trying to imitate, and then this determines its properties at different wear levels, which is made possible with the gunsmith finish. His goal with these skins is to make something that looks expensive and high quality while not looking too gaudy, that people might want just because it looks nice. There are several other colour schemes for this available on the workshop, which are also pretty cool. The PP-Bizon Night Riot by Mind Designs was made to give some love to the less popular weapons in CSGO. He originally gave it the name Uproar, though Valve at some point changed its name to Night Riot. For the big popular weapons, he has another series that you may have heard of, or even had items from, called the Elite Build. Of his Uproar series, the UMP45 was in an earlier case, and only the MP7 is left to be included now. PTP made this 5.7 skin soon after the gunsmith finish was added to the game. It was one of his first attempts to utilise the Alpha Exponent to create a metallic flake paint finish that sparkled in the sun. It's part of his popular Hot Rod collection, all of which are metallic and airbrush designs that are inspired by classic hot rods. The XM1014 and Glock have already been included in previous cases. The Swag 7 is the first of 2 skins in this case that are made by the Honey Badger. Now I always love covering his work since each has a story behind it, all beautifully written up on the workshop page should you want to learn more. This skin was made as a follow-up to a sticker of the same style. He says that the positive reception to his Rect 9 on the workshop also encouraged him to pursue this design. He wanted to keep the colour scheme simple so that it didn't look too garish, but couldn't decide between a silver design that faded with wear, or a gold finish that wore to black and white. So he made both. He thinks Valve chose the right one, and thinks that the gold skin's transition style was put to better use in its P2000 Imperial Dragon design, which has also made it into the game. The Lionfish is another skin by PTP, inspired by the patterns found on Lionfish, believe it or not. He told me that sea creatures have some amazing natural patterns. After a few quick tests, he realised that not all patterns carry through to a weapon design that well, but the Lionfish shapes did, while still being recognisable as a lionfish. He started out with a black and white shape, got that to tile correctly, then added shading to give the pattern depth. Finally, he layered on some micro detail to mimic artefacts that might come from spray painting a weapon. There is now a whole series of skins based on this design on the workshop. They seem split 50-50 between this design and a darker, subtle red. The pattern is randomised, so each design will look unique. The Wild 6 Nova shotgun by Das Das took about 2 weeks to make. He loves the post-apocalyptic style, and he had a lot of fun designing this one in particular, influenced by numerous movies and games from the genre. There were originally 3 versions of this skin, but eventually he chose the yellow version with a smiley face on the front of the barrel because he thinks it's the most fun. Just like a vehicle from some future wasteland, you'll find painted teeth, stickers and numbers plastered all over this design. The UMP-45 Arctic Wolf was made by Blossom Alex, who told me that the theme was of a battle-scarred white wolf, inspired by a book called White Fang, written by Jack London. It goes from dark grey at the back of the design to almost white at the front, which is where the fangs would be. There's a midnight blue background that features bites and scratches to really give the appearance of an aggressive battle animal. Moonrise is another skin by MG-Baz and Mouse1, inspired by Hotline Miami. They started off by playing with the shape of the Glock, mixed with an anodized airbrushed finish. It's got a couple of cool features. The texture shifts, but only horizontally, giving each design a unique pixel art skyline on the side. Look closely enough and you'll notice a faint TV scanline appearance. And there's a 3.75% chance that you'll get a rare design with a star showing on the button on the side, as a nice little Easter egg. The USP-S Cortex by Glasgow Died's account is a hand-drawn creation that originally was meant to look like brain matter, but he decided it looked more like gum and accepted that it would be that for the final product. Although you can still see that it may originally have come from a skeleton's head. The design becomes more red and green with wear and tear, though most of the details remain intact, including the USP written on the suppressor. The Stymphalian is another epic by the Honey Badger with a story to tell. He was inspired by the map Santorini and decided to make some finishes based on Greek antiquity. For the Orc he chose birds of prey since they tend to have good eyesight, which is what a scoped weapon gives its user. After many iterations he settled on one of the tasks that Hercules was given, which was to clear out a swamp of Stymphalian birds, who were man-eating creatures with beaks of bronze, had sharp metallic feathers that they could launch at their victims, and poisonous dung. He studied Greek pottery to get the colour scheme and, after many versions and iterations, finally got it to where it is now. It was the longest he had ever spent on a single skin and was fed up by the end of it. But also proud. Despite all this, he wasn't even sure that the CSGO community would like this design. Fun fact, he uses the Greek alpha and beta symbols in the design, a bit like how there are A and B bomb sites. He games on lower settings, so makes sure his designs look decent even with low texture quality so that everybody can enjoy his creations. And lastly, an early version had an eagle instead, but he felt it was too Third Reich. The AWP Mortis, much like the AK-47 Empress, is part of a larger series by Zafk, where he intends to eventually cover the entire Series 1 of the Tarot collection. The future plan is to make skins based on all of the 22 major Arcana cards. People on Reddit pointed out that this looked very much like a dead version of the Dragon Lore, but it's actually a dead horse skeleton, based on a particular tarot card. The Bloodsport MP7 features a fictional story about how terrorist attacks became so frequent that the industry leaders sponsored the greatest CTs, who had become celebrities in their own right. This skin being one such design based around racing and extreme sports sponsors. Slimeface says it was inspired by the Wipeout games from the PlayStation 1, since the MP7 kind of reminded him of a spaceship. But his time with the console wasn't to be. He enjoyed gaming on it until a slug got into the back of it and blew it up. And lastly, Donshi's Neo-Noir M4. There's not much information on this design, but the already accepted USP-S was based on a black and white illustration, which was then given some fancy striking colouring to give it additional push. This one is a new illustration, a girl that uses a sword in battle who has a scar from previous encounters. All illustrations are done with a specific weapon in mind, so each design from the collection is unique, although retains a similar colour scheme. But there's more. It's also part of a larger collection with different colours. And that's it for the Clutch case. Thank you to all of the artists who talked with me about them. Much appreciated. I just hope I've pronounced everything correctly.